Good evening and welcome to your primetime news here on Newsfirst, where the people come first. I'm Deshan Gonavala, and as always, we've got the very latest news stories from here at home and around the world for you today as well. And again, as always, let's first have a look at the headlines.
Tear gas fired at inter-university student protesters near Parliament. Entry roads to Parliament closed for 2 days. Rehearsals for crowd control. Ranjit Siambalapitiya re-elected as Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Political parties trade accusations over violating agreement on Deputy Speaker's appointment.
විවිධ අයගේ විවිධ පැටිකිරියන් මුළු රටටම හෙළි වුණා. අද ශ්‍රී ලංකාව වෙනුවෙන් ඉන්නේ മന്ത്രിවරු 65යි. මේක දේශපාලන සූදුවක් නෙවෙයිද? ආණ්ඩුව අඳුර ගන්නත් බෑ. මිනිස්සුන්ට විපක්ෂය අඳුර ගන්නත් බෑ.
The wait for fuel continues. $300 million remaining to purchase fuel. A revelation in Parliament. Trade unions to launch island-wide hartal tomorrow.
මහජන සෞඛ්‍ය පරීක්ෂකවරුන්ගේ සංගමයේ විදිහට මහජන සෞඛ්‍ය පරීක්ෂකවරු 3000ක් නියෝජනය කරමින් මේ හර්තාලයේ සඳහා දායකත්වයේ සපයනවා.
Now in your lead story, police fired tear gas at protesters of the Inter-University Students' Federation near Parliament a few hours ago. The decision to fire tear gas affected ordinary people travelling through the area as well. Naveksha Gunasekara brings us the latest.
I'm currently here opposite the entry point of the parliamentary complex as the protest march that was launched by the Inter-University Students' Federation has reached the parliamentary complex, and they are not showing any signs of giving up. Short while ago, police dispersed tear gas, police fired tear gas rather, with hopes of dispersing these protesters. However, they have once again returned to the entry point and they continue to protest against the current government, demanding the president and the current government to immediately step down and provide solutions to the ongoing problems in the country. Now, this protest march took off opposite the Sri Jayawardhanapura University at 2:30 p.m. today, and thereafter they marched through the Navala Koswatha Road and reached the entrance of the parliamentary complex. The security at the parliamentary complex was, however, tightened from this morning. There were special barricades set up, and these protesters tried to enter the parliamentary complex through these barricades, and that's when the police fired tear gas with hopes of dispersing these protesters. But the convener of the IUSF says that they will not leave the premises tonight, and they will continue their struggle at opposite the parliamentary complex. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Naveksha Gunasekara reporting to you from opposite the parliamentary complex.
අර කඩේ ඇතුළට රටනේ මේ මෙතන මේ ඒ එපා
Beep, beep, beep.
The protesters broke through the first ring of barricades near the parliamentary complex. They then attempted to remove the second ring of barricades as well. University Students Federation launched its protest opposite the Sri Jayawardhanapura University. This was under the theme, "Let's oust this government and change the system." Many people expressed their support to the protesters by providing them bottles of water. They marched towards Rajagiriya through Nugegoda and Koswatha. The protesters then marched towards Parliament. The police used GI pipes to set up permanent barricades obstructing the roads leading to Parliament since last night. This resulted in heavy traffic congestion along roads around the Parliament. They are wasting time in Parliament and have no interest to do something for the country. They need to feed the people first. The people need fuel. They are not doing anything. What are they doing by closing off the roads? They are violating our rights. They looted and forced us to wait in line for fuel, milk powder and gas. Can you purchase gas from anywhere? We are not scared to die because we are already dead. Can you tell us where we can find fuel? While motorists were seen stuck in traffic, the VIP vehicles easily avoided the traffic with police protection. The police said that several roads close to Parliament will be closed for vehicle movement today and tomorrow.
Pasarela. Hey, no? What can
Accordingly, the roads leading to Parliament from Diathuina Junction to Jantipura Junction and Jantipura Junction to the Kingdom roundabout will be closed. The police said that it apologizes for the inconvenience caused and requested the public to use alternative routes. Police officers were seen engaged in crowd control techniques near the Parliament.
Now, protesters switched pavements today to hold their demonstrations opposite temple trees.
Young protesters provided cover to police officers during rains opposite temple trees in Colombo. The protest area opposite the Prime Minister's official residence is dubbed Mainagogama. Following a court order, police removed buses from the pavement while protesters removed tents. The protest is in its 10th day.
Now, it's been 27 days since people began protesting outside the President's office in Colombo.
Fishermen marched along the coast from Kochikade to Handala and then joined the protests at Golface.
Fishermen have decided not to engage in their livelihood to demand the government to resign and to make way for an independent person who can create an environment for our future generations to live.
25 trade unions were part of the demonstration. Some fishermen joined the protest at Gota Gogama this afternoon. New security cameras had been set up at the President's office today.
Yesterday we saw Ali Sabri saying that he is just a night watchman. Don't forget that Ali Sabri is the country's finance minister. You can't govern this country like this. You are incapable of providing a solution. I feel all of you must resign. After something goes wrong, they come and admit their mistake. They say they could have made better decisions and listen to various opinions. For 27 days we have been asking all of you to resign if you can't do a good job.
Large crowds flocked to Golface since last night. Thirteen youth protesters who were arrested near the parliamentary roundabout joined the protests at Golface after being granted bail last night.
Let's now cross over to Nisal Suryarachi, who brings us the latest from the demonstrations.
These people are here in their numbers. They come here from all across the country. There are people here today who have walked all the way from Gaul to come to Gota Gogama. And they are here demanding these parliamentarians, these governments, the Prime Minister and the President to resign immediately to make way for a corruption-free and a better Sri Lanka.
human rights groups from all over the world, all sovereign nations, please give Sri Lanka your attention right now. We need help from the international community to keep what's happening here in the headlines.
Now questions are emerging on whether the parliament can vote to remove the president, the prime minister and the government. However, let's take a look at what happened when a vote was held in parliament today.
Ranjit Siambalapitiya had recently resigned from the post of Deputy Speaker after he announced he would sit independently. However, he was re-elected as Deputy Speaker today. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party proposed the name of Ranjit Siambalapitiya for the post of Deputy Speaker. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, the main ruling party, said they would support the nomination. The Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Sri Lanka's main opposition party, nominated Imtiaz Bakir Makar for the post.
The government completely supports the nomination of Ranjit Siambalapitiya.
I propose the name of Imtiaz Bakir Makar for the post of Deputy Speaker.
A secret vote was held in Parliament as there were two nominations.
දැනට තමන් පත් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන മന്ത്രിවරයාගේ නම යොදා තමන්ගේ අත්සන සටහන් කළ යුතු බව නැවතත් අවධාරණය කරනවා.
ඔබතුමා කිව්වා මේ බැලට් පේපර් එකේ අත්සන් කරන්න ඕන කියලා. ඒතකොට රහස්‍යභාවය එළි වෙනවනේ. මොකද්ද මේ නීතිය?
නෑ. ඒක ස්ථාවර නියෝග.
ගොඩින්ද? නෑ මොකද මේ ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයේ ගොඩක් අය ඉන්නවා අපිට ඡන්දෙ දෙන්න. හැබැයි අත්සන් කරන්න ගියම ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇති වෙනවා. රහස්‍ය ඡන්දයක් තියලා අත්සන් කරනවා නම් මේ කාලනාස්ති කරන්න එපා ඉලෙක්ට්‍රොනික ක්‍රමයට ගන්න. ඒතකොට ප්‍රශ්න ඉවරයිනේ.
එහෙම කරන්න බෑ.
Honorable Mahinda Rajapaksa. Honorable Sajid Premadasa.
මොනවද රහස්‍ය භාවය ගැන කතා කරනවා? කිසිම රහස්‍ය භාවයක් නැහැ.
Ranjit Siambalapitiya was elected as Deputy Speaker with 148 votes, while Imtiaz Bakir Makar received 65 votes. Parliamentarians Vimal Weerawansa and Uddika Premaratne were absent during the vote. MPs W.D.J. Sanivaratne, C.V. Vigneswaran, Mayantha Disanayaka, Imran Mahroof and S. Nogaradalingam were also absent. Yesterday, the entire opposition agreed to nominate and vote for me. This was the same stance even by 9:30 or 10 this morning. But I regret that the opposition lost that opportunity. I feel that this is a betrayal of the people's struggle during this crisis. This doesn't change our decision to sit independently with the opposition.
The various motives of some parliamentarians were revealed today. They pretend to be part of the opposition and deceive the people. We changed our decision after they decided to vote for Siambalapitiya. I have to even regrettably say that.
There is no point in whatever we do in Parliament if they don't understand the people's voice.
Let's work with unity. The people are saying the Rajapakshas must be sent home. They are not asking all Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna members to be removed.
Today, the parliament became yet another dirty place. The people saw that they falsely claimed to be independent. Let me ask the opposition leader, whom did your mother meet at Thirukumar Nadeshan's house? How did you lose the chance to unite and strengthen the opposition? Why are you making deals while being in the opposition?
Nothing of that sort has happened. Don't allow mudslinging to happen here. Remove them from the Hansard. My mother didn't go to meet Nadeshan, who is mentioned in the Pandora papers.
Last morning we saw former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe speaking to many parliamentarians individually to support Siambalapitiya, but he is in the opposition. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party decided to support Siambalapitiya. The SLPP's Professor G.L. Peeris said they will support him. There are only 65 parliamentarians who represent Sri Lanka. 148 parliamentarians represent the Rajapaksas. They are actors and thieves. They are liars. They won't vote against the Rajapaksas.
Everyone should have a political stance. The leaders of the party that nominated the candidate is speaking something else on the other side. From the other side, they nominated a deputy speaker and joined the government in electing him. Isn't this political gambling? We can't identify the government clearly. The people can't identify the opposition.
Jatika Janbalawegya leader Anur Kumar Dissanayake expressed his opinion on the appointment of the Deputy Speaker.
Reappointing a former Deputy Speaker who resigned before is a theatric. Things like this worsen the anger that people have towards the Parliament. This shows that the rulers are trying to deceive the people without finding proper solutions for their problems. If parliamentarians, the President and the Prime Minister have to hide in bunkers when being surrounded by fences, it shows that they are unable to continue as rulers of this country. So we urge these rulers to immediately step down from their positions.
Now the Bar Association of Sri Lanka says a national unity government should be formed for a period of 18 months.
The President should not, in relation to the abolition of the executive presidency, the political parties should come together and form a government of national unity with a Prime Minister who is acceptable to all the political parties in Parliament. We are suggesting that there be a 15-member advisory council consisting of 15 experts to advise the Cabinet of Ministers. Our proposal is that this government of national unity should continue for a period of a maximum of 18 months and after that to go in for a general election.
We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Yasa isuru, pirunu tanak neveka. Lokuma salli tiyena tana. Ape sallit parisam nisa.
ඉහළ ප්‍රතිලාභ සමගින් විශ්වාසනීය තැන්පතුවක්.
LB Yasa Isuru, unparalleled rewards for a trusted deposit.
Welcome back to the news. Now Sri Lanka's economy is in dire straits. Finance Minister Ali Sabri said yesterday, and she said that Sri Lanka has less than $50 million in usable reserves. Parliamentarians debated about the country's economic situation today as well.
The government is in slumber. The people's problems continue to exist. By providing tax concessions to the rich, how much did the government lose out on revenue? The person with supposedly 7 brains in your side wasn't able to do a good job. The people are waiting until you come outside. None of you have a backbone. What were the conditions put forward by China when giving Sri Lanka a 10 billion yuan swap facility? The media is reporting that $750 million of a $1 billion Indian credit line for essential goods imports is to be used to import steel. Is that true? What are the companies that will benefit through this? When will the people be able to purchase fuel and gas without having to stand in queues?
නිර්මාණය වී ඇති ඉන්ධන හා ගෑස් පෝලිම් නිශ්චිතව අවසන් කර ඉන්ධන හා ගෑස් සාමාන්‍ය පරිදි ජනතාවට ලබාගත හැකි දිනේ කවදාද?
China provided 10 billion yuan as a swap facility on condition that we have enough foreign reserves to pay for our import bills for 3 months and to keep the ratio of short-term loans to foreign reserves at less than 100%. The reason for obtaining this facility under those conditions is that the money can be added into our reserves with zero interest. Our economic indicators are expected to improve in the future. It is completely false that we are going to use $750 million to import steel. The finance ministry issued a statement and clarified that only $40 million has been used to import steel. Therefore, this is a blatant lie. Listen to us when we respond. What sort of a joke is this?
$40 million 40යි. එන්න මේක සම්පූර්ණ අසත්‍යයක්. ප්‍රශ්නයට උත්තර දෙනකොට ඒක අහගෙන ඉන්න එපා. මොකද්ද මේ වේලුව? ඔය දාන්නේ මට එන්න. අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා දින.
We expect to resolve the petrol crisis in about 3 days. But there is a serious problem over diesel. We can release diesel stocks to filling stations. But if we do that, we will have to increase the duration of power cuts from 3 hours and 20 minutes to about 7 or 8 hours. Therefore, as the government, based on the President's advice, we made a policy decision that since we have to limit power cuts to only 3 hours and 20 minutes, we will be allocating a considerable amount of diesel stocks for power generation.
කළ යුතු නිසා අපේ බලාගාරවලට වැඩි කොටසක් අපි දාලා තියෙනවා බලාගාර වෙනුවෙන්.
Meanwhile, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has imposed limits on the sale of fuel.
Fuel will be sold at a limit of 2,000 rupees for motorcycles and 3,000 rupees for three-wheelers. The limit for cars, vans and jeeps would be 8,000 rupees. CPC Chairman Sumit Jaisingh said there will be no limit for vehicles such as buses that run on commercial purposes.
Now questions continue to emerge on whether Sri Lanka can resolve its fuel crisis easily. Let's take a look at the Finance Minister's statement yesterday to understand the gravity of the current situation.
කෙටි
As a short-term solution, India has given a credit line to us. It was worth $500 million to import fuel. We have about $100 million remaining. They have also given us a $1 billion credit line to import essentials. $200 million will be allocated to import fuel. We have made a request for another $500 million. We are trying to import fuel required by us until the end of June. That is the situation on the ground. In recent months, the government has spent about $50 million on a fuel consignment. India has decided to provide a $300 million loan to Sri Lanka. Accordingly, how many fuel consignments can be purchased using this money? The remarks expressed by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation's chairman highlight the severity of the crisis. CPC chairman Subit Vijay Singh has said Sri Lanka will have to rely on diplomatic ties to import fuel after June. India has provided Sri Lanka more than $3 billion in loans to help the country in tiding over the crisis. These loans are not provided with no strings attached and instead entail several conditions. As India provides Sri Lanka with loans, it is attempting to purchase the Kachativu island on lease for 99 years. It was during a visit to Sri Lanka that the Bharatiya Janata Party's Tamil Nadu chief K. Annamalai submitted a proposal to his party's national president. Tamil Nadu media today reported that India's central government plans to purchase the island on lease. Islands in Muttur, Mannar and Jaffna of Sri Lanka's coast were given to India recently for energy projects. The IOC, or the Indian Oil Company, also holds a stake in the Trincomalee oil tank farm. Defence agreements signed by Sri Lanka have been mired in controversy in the recent past. Just like India, China has also acquired Sri Lanka's assets like the Colombo port city and the Hambantota port. It is possible that these deals may be forgotten as the problems of the people continue to mount. The mechanisms proposed by those in power as solutions can potentially mean that Sri Lanka could lose all of its assets.
Now, people in Sri Lanka are continuing to battle many issues at present. Many were seen in long queues to purchase fuel today as well. We begin our coverage with Mariam Gunavijaya, who visited a queue earlier today.
It's 3:30 p.m. in Colombo, and this is the situation at the filling station in Union Place. The country is facing an economic crisis, including a major fuel crisis, and several people in the country have been affected by the rising fuel prices and the shortage of fuel at the same time. Now, despite fuel shipments continuing to reach the country, we are witnessing a long queue of people and vehicles waiting to purchase fuel in Colombo and across many areas in the country.
තවත් කන් දෙන්නේ රට කාලා විනාශ කරන්න ඉන්නේ හොරු ටික යන්න කියන්න කවු දෙන්නට යන්න කියන්න ගෝටා ගෝ හෝම් මා බැංකුවේ ඩොලර් වේයෝ කාලා කකුල් දෙකේ වේයෝ
ඊයේ පාන්දර 4 ඉඳන් ඉන්නේ මුන්ට එන ගන්න ඕනේ මේ කරන අපරාධ.
People in Horana stood in queue to purchase fuel despite heavy rains. Tensions arose at a filling station in Yatayanthoda last night.
එයාට පෙන්වන්න කියන්න අපි නැත්තම් ගෙදර යනවා. නැත්තම් වාහනේ දාලා ටිවිල් එක ගෙදර යනවා. තාම සෙට් එක වහන්න නැහැ. 10ට සෙට් එක වහන්නේ. දැන් 10 වෙලක් නැහැනේ.
The police intervened to ensure that 2 liters of fuel are sold to every customer in the queue.
Right. පොලිසියට තියෙන එක තමයි මම මේ කතා කරලා දෙන්න හදන්නේ.
Now, the shortage of cooking gas is continuing to affect people in Sri Lanka. Now, the government has decided to import gas from Indonesia's Siam Gas and Petrochemicals Company as a result of the requirements.
The Ministerial Cabinet has granted approval for Litrogas Lanka Limited to import gas from Indonesia's Siam Gas and Petrochemicals Company. Litrogas chairman Vijay Therat says he expects the gas shortage to end in a few weeks. Laughs Gas, Sri Lanka's private LP gas supplier, says it expects gas shipments to arrive in 5 days. But for many people, like some in Panadura, there seems to be no end in sight for the queues outside gas dealership stores. 200 cylinders that were brought on a lorry to Panadura were not enough for the customers in queue. The shortage of cooking gas has forced people to look for alternatives like kerosene, but a kerosene shortage is making things worse. There are long queues for kerosene and the people are frustrated. Desperate to purchase gas, people continued to wait in queue at Kosgashande in Colombo amidst heavy rains.
News First with the people.
Now, several sectors in Sri Lanka will not function tomorrow due to a hartal by trade unions. They are demanding the resignation of the government, including the President and the Prime Minister.
Employees in the state, semi-government and private sectors from various sectors including health, education, transport and banking will join tomorrow's hartal.
We will be adding our strength to the hartal tomorrow. The strike has been declared in all schools, including teachers and principals.
Asking Gotabaya to go shouldn't be like sending the 40 thieves away and keeping Alibaba in his place. We must chase the main thief away first.
Although we will be treating our patients without joining tomorrow's strike, the GMOA has decided to take all possible measures to support this.
If you don't resign, you will be dragged away. We will give you 4 days. The 11th is going to be decisive. I emphasize the fact that the Rajpaksas will have to face a very serious and massive continuous strike.
3,000 public health inspectors will join the hartal tomorrow.
We will not operate buses tomorrow. We will have to voluntarily step down. The people will have to face this.
The Sri Lanka Immigration and Immigration Officers Association said it will step down from its duties in the VIP and CIP lounges at all airports, including the Katnaika International Airport.
Now, the Divi Savia program to distribute dry rations among low-income earning families is in its third day. The program is sponsored by LOLC.
Food packs were distributed among families in need at 8 locations in Kilinochchi district as a part of the Devi Savia program today. The teams began the distribution program from the St. Anthony's Church in Kilinochchi and the Indirapuram Church. The Divi Savia program aims at identifying families in need and providing them with food packs to help them tide over these difficult times.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of Lisa Hassan Shazuli, I'm Deshan Gonawala. Catch us again tomorrow. We're News First with the people. God bless.